I'm shocked we've kept this a secret for so long.
These two have sold their souls, and they've sold Harry's family down the river. It's unforgivable, and it will leave a bitter taste in the mouths of millions of people. They trash everybody. They basically make out the entire royal family a bunch of white supremacists. They've trashed his dad, they've trashed his brother, they've trashed his sister-in-law, they've trashed everything the Queen has worked so hard to maintain with the monarchy, and they're supposed to believe they're compassionate.
Meghan Markle has finally broken her silence, but instead of clearing the air, her truth is leaving everyone even more stunned. So, Meghan Markle's name is once again on everyone's lips, but not for a new royal appearance or polished media rollout. No, this time it's because of one video, one bizarre, head-scratching viral clip that has completely blown up online and sent her public image into a full-blown tailspin. Let's rewind. The now infamous video. Meghan dancing in what looked like a hospital room, cradling a baby bump and lip-syncing to lyrics about being a baby mama, wasn't just awkward. It ignited a wildfire of backlash across social media and the industry. Within 48 hours, it had racked up millions of views and just as many questions. Was this her idea of empowerment, a parody, a PR stunt gone wrong? Now, weeks later, Meghan is finally speaking up, sort of. While she hasn't issued a full statement or formal interview, her team has quietly pushed out carefully worded messages through her lifestyle brand, As Ever, and close media allies. And what's become clear is this. Meghan still believes the video was a bold, empowering celebration of motherhood, but the internet disagrees. Executives at Netflix and Paramount started distancing themselves. Fans, even her loyal ones, went quiet. And now, after letting the scandal simmer, Meghan has stepped forward to set the record straight. But instead of owning up or dialing it back, she doubled down, hard. So, what was this video really supposed to be? According to Meghan, it was meant to be a fun, lighthearted glimpse into motherhood. Proof that even duchesses can be goofy moms who don't take themselves too seriously. But what actually showed up on screen? A blurry, low-lit clip of Meghan dancing, laughing, and gesturing to the camera like she was auditioning for a parody sketch. And then there was the baby bump, a very obvious, very questionable baby bump that sparked more confusion than celebration. People didn't see a relatable mom moment. They saw a bizarre, try-hard performance that felt more like a cry for attention than anything empowering. The energy was awkward, the message unclear, and the tone completely disconnected from the reality most people live in. Within hours, the clip went viral, but not for the reasons she hoped. It wasn't being shared as inspirational, it was being mocked, dissected, and memed. And once that first wave of backlash hit, it didn't stop. People weren't just questioning her judgment, they were questioning her honesty. From the way the bump shifted to the overly polished vibe of the whole thing, speculation exploded. Was this even real, or just another failed PR stunt? And the internet wasn't the only one taking notice. Behind the scenes, the damage was even worse. At Netflix, where Meghan had inked a multi-million-dollar deal for her docuseries with Love, Meghan, alarm bells were ringing. Greg Peters, Netflix's co-CEO, was reportedly furious. Insiders say he was pushing hard to distance the platform from Meghan entirely. He saw the video not just as a public relations misstep, but as a threat to Netflix's reputation. A streaming giant getting dragged into an online circus over a misjudged Instagram post? Not exactly the brand image they were going for. Even Ted Sarandos, who'd long been Meghan's internal supporter, was reportedly second-guessing his position. Executives don't mind a little drama. Controversy sells, after all, but not when it makes your platform look like a joke. And that's exactly what this video was doing. Suddenly, Netflix found itself stuck between a rock and a PR disaster. Do they keep defending someone who's becoming harder and harder to defend, or quietly pull back before things get worse? Meanwhile, Paramount didn't wait around to find out. They cut ties completely. Other studios followed suit, ghosting her team, shelving projects, or simply stepping back to avoid getting caught in the fallout. Just like that, Meghan went from buzzy celebrity dealmaker to a walking liability. And the scariest part? This was only the start of the unraveling.
This is the most authentic we've seen her. She's expressing, I think, the universal human condition out of all of my friends who have become mothers I can't think of a single one who has said, oh, wow, it's exactly what I expected. I'm nailing it. It's so good. I know exactly what I'm doing. And this child has fitted seamlessly into my pre-existing life, which has required no changes at all. I mean, that just doesn't happen.
You'd think after the backlash, Meghan would lay low. Maybe issue a short, polished statement, take a beat, regroup. But no, she did the exact opposite. She doubled down, released a statement trying to explain the whole thing. According to her, the video was a personal statement, a way to reclaim her identity as a mother with a sense of humor. She claimed it was meant to challenge how society views motherhood, that it was a celebration of joy, fun, and personality in a world that pressures moms to be perfect and serious. Nice idea in theory, but in reality, it came off as tone-deaf and self-absorbed. The internet wasn't moved. It was confused and annoyed. Critics weren't buying the whole, I'm just like you narrative from someone living in a multi-million-dollar estate with personal chefs and a full-time staff. Instead of rebuilding trust, her explanation only made things worse. It sounded like a celebrity trying to spin a messy moment into a teachable one, except no one wanted to be taught by her. Even her core supporters were stunned. This wasn't the Meghan they'd defended. This wasn't the voice they'd rallied behind. They weren't mad. They were just disappointed. And worse, they were quiet. The kind of silence that says, we're not mad at you. We just don't believe in you anymore. Just when it seemed like things couldn't get worse, they did. Turns out, Netflix had already wrapped production on season 2 of With Love, Meghan. And as the controversy exploded online, the platform quietly held test screenings to gauge the response. It was a disaster. Reports say the feedback was brutal. Words like hollow, self-indulgent, and unwatchable started circulating in executive circles. Even those who went in hoping to like it walked out wondering what they had just seen. And when your test audience, often selected for being friendly or neutral, isn't even pretending to like the show, that's not a red flag. That's a nuclear alert. Behind closed doors, Netflix started panicking. The boardroom split. Some executives wanted to cancel the release entirely. Others suggested waiting, hoping public opinion might somehow shift. But the data told a clearer story. Interest was dropping, and even longtime fans weren't engaging. And for a streaming platform, investing in a show that can't hold its own audience? That's financial suicide. Meanwhile, Meghan wasn't backing down. She was reportedly pushing for a 3rd season before the 2nd one even aired. To executives already on edge, it felt like a bizarre mix of delusion and pressure. Instead of damage control, she was demanding more screen time. It was like watching someone bet everything on a hand that had already lost. And Netflix? They weren't sure whether to fold or just walk away completely. With the video backlash spiraling and her Netflix deal on life support, Meghan did what many public figures do when the walls start closing in. She went into desperation mode. Word quickly spread through the industry that she was quietly shopping new ideas to other platforms. Disney, MTV, even a few podcast networks reportedly received pitches for shows centered around motherhood, empowerment, or, ironically, media redemption. But here's the problem. No one was biting. A year ago, Meghan Markle's name alone might have guaranteed a meeting. Now, executives were hesitant, not because she didn't have ideas, but because associating with her had become risky. Every studio's worst nightmare is pouring money into a project that turns into a PR firestorm before it even launches. And that's exactly what Meghan had become, a walking controversy with a crumbling fan base. Behind the scenes, rumors started flying. Some insiders speculated that Meghan was leveraging her personal relationship with certain Netflix executives, especially Ted Sarandos, to keep her show alive. Nothing confirmed, of course, but in Hollywood, perception often matters more than proof. And the perception was this: Meghan wasn't just pitching shows. She was fighting for relevance, using every ounce of influence she had left. But it wasn't working. Studios weren't returning calls. Brands were backing off. The deals weren't just drying up, they were evaporating. As if the awkward dancing and tone-deaf message weren't enough, one particular detail in Meghan's video hijacked the conversation entirely. The baby bump. What should have been a harmless visual cue quickly turned into an internet obsession. People weren't just curious, they were downright suspicious. The bump looked off. Its shape seemed to shift. Its placement didn't stay consistent. At times, it looked stiff and swollen. Other times, almost like it was sliding. And in an age where screenshots are dissected like evidence in a courtroom, that was all it took. Reddit threads exploded. TikToks went viral. YouTubers zoomed in frame by frame, comparing clips, pointing out inconsistencies, building a case. Was it a fake bump? A moon bump? Was the whole thing just a stunt? Theories flew. Some called it a prosthetic gone wrong. Others claimed it was a PR ploy to generate sympathy or media attention. And while none of it was confirmed, the damage didn't wait for facts. Because when people start questioning your authenticity, especially about something as personal as pregnancy, it sticks. And it spreads fast. Even those who didn't believe the conspiracy felt uncomfortable. The trust was broken. Meghan's defenders suddenly found themselves without an argument. The vibe shifted from, she's misunderstood, to what the hell is going on? And once that question enters the public narrative, it rarely leaves. So how did Meghan respond to all of this? The spiraling speculation, the crumbling support, the mounting industry backlash. She grabbed a mic and talked for an hour. Alone. No interviewer, no co-host, no filter. What was supposed to be a podcast-style empowerment moment quickly became something else entirely. It was raw, sure, but not in the way she intended. Meghan spent nearly 60 minutes defending herself, explaining her truth, and talking about how the world still hadn't seen the real her. She even started referring to herself in the third person. "The world hasn't seen the real Meghan yet," she said, like she was setting up the second act of some redemption movie. But it didn't land. Instead of coming off as vulnerable or insightful, it read like a self-indulgent monologue. One where the main character couldn't understand why everyone else wasn't applauding. There was no humility, no acknowledgement of how the video might have misfired, just more framing of herself as the misunderstood hero in a world full of villains. She even leaned into the same parenting narrative again, claiming her purpose was to teach people how to raise children with joy, humor, and grace. But coming from someone with a full-time nanny team, a media consultant, and a staff behind the scenes, the message rang hollow. To everyday parents juggling 9-to-5 jobs, daycare pickups, and late-night diaper changes, it felt like satire. Meghan wasn't sharing wisdom. She was grasping for control. And instead of winning hearts, she alienated even more of her remaining audience. The podcast was supposed to be her big statement, her reset. Instead, it became the clearest sign yet that she had lost the room, and didn't even know it. While Meghan was busy trying to reclaim the narrative, the real drama was unfolding behind the scenes, inside Netflix's executive boardrooms. What started as a creative partnership was quickly turning into a corporate headache. Greg Peters, Netflix's co-CEO, had reportedly seen enough. Internally, sources say he was pushing hard to cut ties, rallying the board to cancel with love, Meghan outright, and move on. But there was a problem: Ted Sarandos. Unlike Peters, Sarandos had been one of Meghan's biggest defenders from the start. He had greenlit her original projects, supported her vision, and stuck with her even when things got rocky. But now, even Ted was under pressure. According to insiders, the board was deeply split. Some argued that canceling the show would make Netflix look reactionary. Others believed keeping it would make the platform look like a joke. And then came the twist: Meghan wasn't backing off. In fact, she was reportedly pressuring Netflix to approve a third season before the second one had even aired. A bold move, to say the least, considering test audiences had already labeled season 2 unwatchable. Rumors even swirled that Meghan was leveraging personal connections or private negotiations to keep her projects afloat, though nothing has been confirmed. Still, it raised eyebrows. Why would Netflix even entertain another season of a failing series with plummeting fan support and zero hype? Behind closed doors, the whisper was clear. Something else was going on. But leverage or not, the numbers weren't lying, and Netflix doesn't bet on losers for long. So, where does Meghan Markle go from here? Right now, it looks like she's still clinging to a story the world has already stopped reading. The fans are gone, the industry's walking away, and the fairy tale? It's unraveling, one awkward video at a time. But if there's one thing we've learned, it's that in Hollywood, comebacks aren't impossible. Just unlikely when the cameras stop rolling and no one's watching. If you found this story as jaw-dropping as we did, don't forget to hit that like button. It helps more than you know. Subscribe for more explosive celebrity breakdowns, untold stories, and the moments they definitely didn't want you to see. This is The Dirty Fame, and we'll see you in the next one.